What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about when we are expecting Gotham Knights to release in 2022. Now, I'm sure we've touched upon this topic before, but if we have, months have passed, maybe even years, right? And, I did a live stream earlier in terms of when I'm recording this, and, a couple people, as always, they ask about Gotham Knights, and it got me thinking, and it gets me excited, because when you think of 2022, there's a lot. There's a lot that could potentially release outside of in terms of my own personal interest, right? Outside of Gotham Knights, there is plenty of stuff that could potentially release in 2022. When Gotham Knights comes out versus Suicide Squad versus Hogwarts Legacy versus the other stuff in 2022 does make me extremely excited and extremely wanting to get there. You know what I mean? 2021 has had its moments. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to, every year people always say it's the worst year of all time. I don't agree with that. Just to say it. But no, I mean, I think this year has had some high moments. It's also been the slowest at times that I've maybe ever seen in at least the last 5 to 7 years. I would say it's got easily the lowest and just where nothing is happening. I think 2022 is going to be different. So, Gotham Knights, and again, we've said it before, I would say to update my prediction on it, I'm going to go, and I'm going to give myself like a wide area. I'm going to go like March to June. Maybe we can even say April to June. I feel like spring seems pretty solid. And this is something we'll talk about too as we get closer to DC Fandom, because it's like, well, when you're going to DC Fandom, what exactly you're going to show. I do think we get a release date at DC Fandom. I do think we get more gameplay at DC Fandom. Maybe I'm expecting a lot or I'm expecting too much. You could easily say that, and I don't blame you, right? But I have a good feeling about it. It's just a feeling inside me that I think we're going to get a release date. I would be shocked if the release date said January and then pick a day, 22nd, right? If that happened, I would be like, holy dear God, like it's coming, right? I think it I don't know, it just feels more like a thing that we see at DC Fandom and they say April 15th, and it's like, all right, it's coming. It's coming relatively soon. Like, we don't have to wait another full year for it, but it's not tomorrow. It's not next month. It's not, and I mean, that's a little, I'm exaggerating a little, but it's not January. It's not February 1st, right? It's not the beginning of February. We have a little bit to wait. That's personally what I'm not hoping for it. Obviously, I want it as soon as possible, but it's kind of what I'm expecting. And again, we haven't had the talk in a while, but you have to consider Hogwarts and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And I would argue, as I have for years, and hopefully I'll be proven right more and more as time goes on, but specifically with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I'm telling you, these two games cannot, and more importantly, I just flat out believe will not come out close to each other. They won't. They will, I think, be spaced out quite a bit. And do I mean they have to come out literally 6 months, apart from each other, like literally as far apart as they possibly can? No, not necessarily. All I'm saying is it doesn't. I just don't think it will or it should come out within the same month or two. I would say. I think you should probably give it at least 2 to 3 months room to breathe. So again, like, what does that have to do with anything? Well, if Gotham Knights comes out in September or October next year, then the Suicide Squad come out next year. And that's another question for potentially another video, right? Does Suicide Squad release in 2022? I know I made the argument like a year plus ago. Maybe it wasn't a full year ago, but like a long time ago, I made the prediction that it will not release in 2022. I still feel good about that. I feel like it's probably, if it happens, fantastic. If it does come out in 2022, like, that's awesome. But I feel like it's just better to expect it not to come out, and then that way, if it does, it's like, oh, awesome, that's great. But even still, if Suicide Squad releases next year, I don't know. I don't know if Gotham Knights can come out in September and then Suicide Squad comes out in October, right? At the same time, games, you can have games released pretty much whenever. The only cutoffs, for the most part, seem to be around like the 2nd to 3rd week of December to around the 2nd week of January. There's a good 3 to 4 week stretch in that time zone that no game comes out, mainly because of Christmas and holidays and stuff like that. Developers just don't do it, right? So that's something to keep in mind, that once you hit a certain cutoff, probably around December 10th through 15th. I know there has been games like Cyberpunk, and there's been other Just Cause games in the past have released. Dying Light 2 releases this year in December, I think December 7th. But, there is that cutoff. So, I don't know. I feel good about it. Hogwarts Legacy is the other one, obviously, you have to kind of consider. But as I've said, I don't think you release those in back-to-back weeks or even, 2-3 weeks apart. Again, maybe like a month a month to 2 months apart, but it's not something that I think massively changes things like a Suicide Squad, right? Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights are much closer related than Hogwarts Legacy is. So that's what I would say. Again, I know we've talked about it before, but it's been at least 3, 4, 5 months. I wanted to give kind of an updated view as to how I see things. Obviously, DC fandom, I personally think will be the answer. Like, you know what I mean? We'll get our answers there, but I'd be kind of shocked if it was January or February, and then if it's March through June, that would be, I guess, my prediction. If it's next fall, there's that other part to it too, right? You go to DC fandom, you see the release date, and it says fall 2022. That would probably be the most negative thing that could come out of the events. You know what I mean? That could be the worst. That would be like the worst case scenario. I do think we get some sort of time period from it, and again, that would be like the worst one. So let me know, guys, what you think in the comments below. When do you think it releases in 2022? What do you think we see at DC fandom? Again, there'll always be new videos coming out on this stuff. We'll talk about DC fandom a ton as we get closer. I'll be covering it. I got some plans behind the scenes that I want to kind of do as well, so we'll talk about that as we get closer. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, leave a like. Definitely helps these videos out. If you guys want to support us in any of our social media stuff, I have a Twitter, I have a second channel. Links are always down in the description below. We have a Patreon and YouTube memberships if you guys want to support us financially there. I obviously would be very, very grateful. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope to see you all on the next video.